Having grown up in Western Pennsylvania, um, the religious sect that always fascinated me were the Amish. Um, Here in Connecticut, they have the Enfield Shakers, um, which I don't know if you've heard of them before, but they're a religious sect, or were. Um, the sect here went to about 1915 or so, um, and before it lost momentum. But they have a history here from in Enfield, which is not far from here in out of West Hartford here. Um, the community started in 1792 and went, like I said, to about 1915 or so. Um, and they have quite a collection in this room here of works done by the Enfield Shakers. It was a community, um, and with covenant that they kept with the rules of the community. There were elders and eldresses, and you had to sign the covenant book. And once you did, you surrendered any property you may have, any worldly goods, to the larger community. And then you became part of the community. Okay. The Enfield Shakers, unlike other Shaker communities, were not focused too much on things made by hand. Okay, most people recognize when they hear Shakers and Shaker works, Shaker creations, they think of woodwork by Shakers, most notably the rockers. Okay, the rocking chairs by Shakers. That's what I grew up on in my education of the Shaker sect. In southwestern Pennsylvania, I had heard of the sect, and I heard they made beautiful woodwork and things like that. The Enfield Shakers were mostly known for their products by land and not by hand. They were big in selling dairy products, agricultural products, and such. Here is a towel rack, okay, from one of the Quakers at the Enfield community. The SC initials there stand for Sophia Copley. Okay, this picture is about from 1880 or so. Much of the items in here are not what the Quakers in Enfield sold, but what they actually used for themselves and their, in their daily lives. Okay, so the woodwork you see in here is not what they sold at one time. Most of it was utilitarian for their own benefit and their own community here in Enfield. Okay. Side chair. And they say in one of the signs here that the chairs in the Enfield community. What was unique was finial or filineal. I know I'm mispronouncing that. What I think that is like that right there, those top almond shaped kind of things. I think that's what they mean by that. So the chairs made by the Enfield Shakers were distinct in the greater uh, uh, and the greater Shaker society in the country for that distinctive feature. Um, I wonder about these desks. Now, I'm wondering about the design because one of the things the Shakers were known for is their practicality in design and creation of their woodwork. And I don't. Is there a date for these desks? Um, about 1830. Okay. I don't know. We've seen that form of desk all over the country. Um, Most notably in state houses around the country. Some of these state houses, their capitol buildings, we've seen those desks. I remember as a child in southwestern Pennsylvania going to grade school and using a desk like that. The one that opens up and you put your books inside there and then you close the cover there and so you can write on it. Here's the Shaker rocking chair, which the sect was well known for. Okay. Um, Again, the Shakers in Enfield kind of took the design and made it their own. Well, yeah, they're unique. It's a suicide rocker, or maybe to prevent a suicide rocking. Look at the legs there. You can only rock so much on this. You can only rock forward so much. So you use an Enfield Shaker rocker, you won't get hurt, okay? Because you can only rock forward so far, okay? The design. Most of this, like I said, is really utilitarian pieces of uh, woodworking here instead of this for sale. This is cool. This is the first what, uh, lamp. First floor lamp. Maybe it's. Look at this. It looks like okay, your lamp, desk lamp maybe, but it's got a turn screw there. You see that? So you can raise this or lower it. You know, like a floor lamp today or a desk lamp. Raise it or lower it. Pretty nice. There you go. Sweet corn. Sold by this peach, huh? Look at her there. Okay. That's MRC offered. And that's her sweet corn for sale. And here, I think this is really cool too. They have the marketing, the advertisements for many of the things these shakers sold in Enfield. Okay, these are some of the advertisements around town for their products, and There you go. Applesauce and blackberry wine. They point out here, again, it's from their orchards in Enfield, that Shakers had no problems with wine and alcohol. In fact, they note here that many times they'd have it for breakfast. Okay, early day drinking. Okay, but around 1845, they changed the laws, the millennial laws, in the oh, I ain't gonna go there, but they changed the millennial laws, the sign there says, and made it much strict for alcohol consumption, and basically ended any alcohol consumption except prescribed by a physician. Okay, so it's kind of like a Vatican II. I don't know, but it was 1845, and it was a millennial law that changed it all here for the consumption of alcohol. And the Shakers got their name not because they drank too much alcohol, but simply because others would note during their religious meetings how they would shake in a very passionate way to kind of rid themselves of their sins and make right with their God. And finally, here we got this piece here. And let's go. It's a dresser drawer, okay, that many can use at one time. All right. So side by side, kind of linked together. Okay. You can get a number of girls at the dresser drawer at one time. You know, or sewing desks. I'm sorry, those sewing desks. Okay. And you can get much more production out of that then. Yeah. Here at the Connecticut Society, Historical Society and Museum.